Welcome to the Whole Person Parenting Podcast. We're here to have honest conversations about how to follow Jesus and parent kids in a whole person way. For more content and encouragement as we support you on your journey, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. We're so glad you're here. Now let's jump in. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Whole Person Parenting Podcast. It's a good day to be here.
It is a good
Excited.
day. Me too.
How's your week been?
It's been good.
Good.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting like fall-y weather, just a bit.
A little bit.
It was rainy, which
Yeah.
is not my favorite kind of weather. But
I know. Well, it's muggy too.
I know.
We're in Oklahoma, so
I just step outside and my hair just. It's not good. I can never have a good hair day in Oklahoma.
It's either windy or rainy or
Yeah.
sweaty.
Or
hot
sweaty.
mess.
Yeah. And you get home and you look in the mirror and you're just like, that is not what I looked like this morning.
I've been in public like
I've
this.
been in public.
Who let me look like this?
Why didn't someone tell me?
I know.
Uh,
It's okay. I think we're all looking like this.
yeah, exactly.
Fine.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. Yeah, I feel like it's been a really quick week for me. Like I feel like it's just gone by like super fast. So
Sometimes that's nice.
it is kind of nice, yeah, because I don't feel like I have to like be waiting for the weekend
Yeah.
to be done with school. So
You've been doing lots of homework.
yeah,
I feel like every time I talk to you, you are like writing a paper or sitting for tests or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, tomorrow's my day off though, so it's good.
Good for you.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad.
nice.
You need a break.
Yeah. So
Just to rest and reset.
yeah.
It's nice.
It is nice. I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
So we kind of are talking about a kind of interesting topic, I think, today, in just the fact that like it wasn't something that I thought was gonna be a popular topic, but like for context, like the Whole Person Parenting account on Instagram, which everyone should go follow, by the way,
Nice.
because we post a bunch of content on there.
Nice plug. Yeah.
Nice little plug.
Shameless plugging.
You know me, I be plugging. You made a comment on a video talking
Yeah.
about basically emotional well-being in children,
Yeah.
or something along those lines, maybe.
Yeah. It was like
And-
emotional regulation.
Yeah. And so you were kind of just talking about like your experience as a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
but then like kind of went into talking about emotional regulation. And so I think the scary thing is like vocabulary. Like for me, I have only taken one psychology class in my entire life, and so I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the general public does not know what we mean when we say emotional regulation. So maybe you could just like kind of walk us through that so we can have a good kind of definition of what that means and what that is and why it's important.
Yeah. Well, I think probably what a lot of people think when they think like emotional regulation, they mean like calm, right? So they mean like, that what they mean when they bring their children to therapy is like, how can I help my child to calm down? How can I help my child to kind of stay happy? I think is what they kind of intend. But really, emotional regulation is kind of the ability to move through emotions and kind of come back to,
So like navigating emotions well, like doing it well.
Yeah, like to
Not just be like a Zen zombie.
right.
Okay.
No, it's not it's not the absence of negative emotion. It's that you can come back to when they say regulated, that's really talking about your nervous system. Like your nervous system can return to like a regulated state.
Yeah.
And so that you can kind of feel good in your body and feel calm, where you can have like all of the mental capacity to make good decisions and things like that.
Right.
Because when you're, like this is a little sciencey, but
Yeah.
whenever you're dysregulated, whenever you don't have emotional regulation, then you're really operating out of a part of your brain that cuts off the ability to have
Like
good.
think logically.
So you kind of lose
Which I think,
access.
yeah, I
to
think
that.
probably like I think we've all kind of experienced that in some way. Whenever you just like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see or you hear the term like I saw red, like and I
Right.
just like and
Yes.
all logic went
Out the
behind
window.
me and you out the
Right.
window. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there it just like I couldn't control myself, you know.
Yes.
And
Like I don't know what I was.
I don't know what I was doing, and
Yes.
you know, it's just like you wake up and you're like, oh, well,
I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking at all.
Yeah, and so like I
Yep.
feel like that's like a pretty common like idea. So in talking about that with emotional regulation, it deals with both kids and adults.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like so to go back to the mention of the comment on Instagram. So like the weird thing about that comment was like it was just like a random comment that I made on from our whole person parenting account.
Yeah.
And it was on somebody else's post.
Yeah.
But then like hundreds of people
liked
this comment.
And you're like, whoa, why?
This random comment that I made.
So random.
But my comment was about like that you really can only have regulation through relationship. And so I think which is interesting that so many people that resonated with them.
Yeah.
And so because I think what happens is, and I know it's like from being a therapist is like people, and I get it. Like I get it from a parent's perspective. Like when you have a child who you don't know what to do when they get upset feelings, like whenever they're feeling overwhelmed or when they're throwing temper tantrums and you don't know how to help them and whatever you're doing isn't working, to take them to somebody that's like a professional, so that they can
like you
help
fix
them.
And
yes.
I will just reap the benefits. Basically.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what clearly I'm not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that feels really bad as a parent, like to be like, well, I'm not doing a good job. I'm not like, maybe I'm not a very good parent. Like maybe I don't know this child very well. Like I can't figure this out. Yeah. And so, I mean, that can feel like really helpless as a parent too. And so, you take them to the professional and you're like, teach my child how to help themselves because I don't know how to help them. And so, but what's kind of missing, and then some therapists will be like, okay, yeah, I'll work with your, 4-year-old on deep breathing or something like that. It's not like this is like a horrible idea.
Yeah.
It's just that, is your 4-year-old going to think of deep breathing in the moment? Is your 13-year-old going to think of deep breathing in the moment?
Yeah.
I mean, like at, 45.
No one's going to think, all right, let me breathe in for 10 seconds. Inhale.
Right. At 45, I have a hard time thinking of deep breathing in the moment, and I'm a therapist, So it's like I have to even make myself do that. And so the idea that you would have someone who you could turn to in those moments, or someone who might recognize you're feeling overwhelmed, or someone who could kind of attune to you in those moments and help you is that idea of like, we wouldn't and maybe we shouldn't expect someone to independently, and especially not like a young child, independently regulate their emotions. That really emotional regulation comes through relationship.
Yeah. And I think kind of the importance of the topic too is just like, I feel like I know people and like I still struggle with regulating my emotions now that I am grown. And so I feel like, I don't know, like it would be so heartbreaking, I think, to see a kid just grow up. Like if I were to watch them through my whole life, from the time they're a baby until the time that they are, 45, and they still can't figure out how to not just blow up whenever they get upset, or not just fall into a 4-day not get out of bed depression when something bad happens, or they lose a job, or just these like normal life things that we don't know how to navigate because we can't control our emotion.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like, is there a way that like, almost that like, okay, so say you were never taught how to emotionally regulate, and therefore like you can't teach me how to emotionally regulate as your daughter because you never learned how. So is there a way for them to almost learn at the same time to co-regulate emotions so that we're not just stuck in a cycle for the rest of our lives of never being able to successfully do this?
I mean, yeah, like short answer, yes.
Yeah.
You know, is that an easy thing to do?
No.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Is it is it challenging? Yes. Is it possible? Like, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it has to be in, you know, real relationship. And, you know, it does make me think of our own relationship. It makes me think of my relationship with my mom. You know, I mean, if we looked at you and I side by side as young kids, we would see a very similar picture.
Right.
You know, I had a terrible temper. I had, you know, I'd throw a lot of fits. I got in a lot of trouble. My mom didn't know how to handle my temper tantrums. And, you know, I was very dysregulated and she didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Fast forward, whatever, 27 years, 20, 29, 30 years later, you're in the same boat.
Yeah, where I'm just throwing fits all the time
In there.
over whenever I can't get pumpkin candy corn.
Kind of over anything.
Really over anything.
Yeah. And what happens is, you know, I had a caregiver who struggled, and I love my mom, and she's a great mom, but she struggled, and she would tell you that she struggled with that.
Yeah.
And I struggled too, you know?
Yeah.
And it took, you know, I didn't get it perfect, especially in that season. I feel like as I grew and as I learned and as I reflected, and I did my own work on my own emotional regulation, I came to more of a point where I could start saying, okay, that wasn't okay, or okay, let me stay with you here, or I think you're feeling like this, and I can stay regulated while you're dysregulated, because that was the issue.
Was that we were both
dysregulated. Right, because, and same with, you know,
and
my
I
guess
like,
is my mom was too.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I remember maybe a difference in our relationship, in me, you know, feeling overwhelmed, especially with like, if we were talking about the context of schoolwork, or just feeling overwhelmed in social, you know, things, and just not knowing what to do, and just like sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, but you would just be there with me, you know, and that was able to make me calm down.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know why this is coming to my mind, but whenever we first watched The River Runs Through It, and I could not stop bawling.
I know. You were so upset.
I was so upset.
It's such a sad movie.
That he died. Not to spoil it.
Spoiler. It's a really old movie, though. If you haven't seen it by now,
I know.
I feel like.
But I was so, it was the first time seeing it. I was probably 14, maybe 15. And I was just so upset.
I know.
I was so,
I don't know. I felt like it was
so
cathartic for you. Like maybe, I was like, she needs to cry or something, because this is a lot. I was like,
it was like maybe like 30 minutes of me just
so much
sobbing. And you were just like, Press, like, it's okay. Like, it's just a character. Yeah. And I was like, but I need to cry.
I know. So
you just let me cry it out and just kind of sat there with me. So I think that's a great example of like, instead of just being like, you gotta, you know, just keep going. Like, it's not that big of a deal, or saying all these different things.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think
just letting me.
Yeah. That was the difference, I think, was that early
because I remember
on,
you telling me that whenever you would see me throwing a fit, you'd kind of just let me, just kind of. And I was a terrible tantrum thrower. Like, would just flail around on the ground, and you just kind of left me there. Which honestly, I would understand. Like, I wouldn't want to deal with me either. But
at the same time, though, I will say that, you know, there. if in retrospect, so if I can reflect back on that time, and I see you throwing those temper tantrums, and I know that I was dysregulated. Like, I wonder what would have been different had I been able to be regulated with you, if I had been able to name the feelings you might have been having, if I had been able to get down on your level and empathize with you, and how disappointed you might have been that you didn't get something that you wanted. If I would have been okay to sit with you even if you were angry,
Yeah.
instead of fighting against those feelings. Like, if I was I was uncomfortable with feelings like you being disappointed, you being angry, you being mad at me, or something like that. Like, those were feelings that I had kind of pushed against. And so, with me pushing against those feelings, it just prolonged your upset.
Yeah.
So, that's something that, I had to get comfortable. I had to get more comfortable with feeling uncomfortable
Yeah.
in those feelings, and being like, okay, this is an issue for me. And so when I'm, as the parents, we want to be able to come to a place where if I am not able to be with you because it's too upsetting for me to tolerate your upset feelings, then I'm taking care of me and I'm not taking care of you.
Right.
And so that's, no matter whether I'm with you as my parent, or whether I'm with a friend because they're upset, and my role is to be the one who's trying to help co-regulate that person, then I am there to help them with their feelings, not them help me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, from what I'm just hearing, is like there takes like a recognition of how you're feeling in a lot of ways, and in order to recognize, and as a parent being able to recognize, okay, what is my child feeling?
Yeah.
Because without that, like, how are you going to be able to take that next step in being there with them, and teaching them, like reteaching them, how do I handle this situation, so that when they're older, there's not this, I don't know what to do. Like, I have all these feelings and I have nowhere to put them.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of reminded, just that, like, this sounds strange, but like, that the Lord is the ultimate regulator.
He is. Yeah.
But in just that, like,
absolutely.
he is so steady, and he is the comfort in the presence that is constantly with us.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of,
there's no off limits feelings for him.
Yeah. He knows them all. Like, he's already experienced them. And so I kind of want to look at this one. I think this kind of goes with just the character of the Lord and in regulation. And Psalm 16, it's a Psalm of David. It says in verse 7, I bless the Lord who gives me counsel. In the night also my heart instructs me. I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I will not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad, and my whole being rejoices. My flesh also dwells secure. For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, or let your Holy One see corruption. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. And so there is this steadiness that comes from the presence of the Lord, and it's just honestly such a comfort, in that, like, he's such a good dad,
Yeah.
and that, like, oh, this is good. Like, even like I feel like a lot of the times in the church you can see this, like, almost comparison of emotion, which I don't think is necessarily wrong, but as the flesh, right? Like, you're following your fleshly desires by giving into emotion. Yeah. But even here it says, my flesh also dwells secure. Yeah. And so even the emotion, even the outburst those things are secure in the Lord because, for one, he's trustworthy and steadfast and faithful to keep his promise that he will stand firm beside us, and that we will because he is at my right hand, that we will not be shaken, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, and I would really like, I think that, and I want to, I mean, I'm not, this is not like a negative, this is not to be negative toward the church, but, you know, I think sometimes it is that any, you know, kind of negative emotion sometimes is looked down upon by the church. But really, we see in the life of Jesus that he experienced all range of emotion, and you know, us being created in the image of God, you know, the emotions that we feel are like him, you know, and us being emotional beings means that God is an emotional being, and Jesus was an emotional person. And he was fully God. At the same time, he was fully man. And so, and he even showed, you know, sadness and grief and anger. So, and he was completely without sin. So, it is not a, you know, I think it can be a misunderstood that if we feel any of these, you know, deeper, more difficult feelings to manage as human beings, that this is somehow sin, or it's that we're falling short of our Christian walk, or we're not living in, you know, joy or something like that, that joy equals happiness. But that, I don't think that really, you know, I don't really think that equates. You know.
For sure.
Yeah. But we see that, you know, even here, he's saying like he's not going to leave. So we see that there's, again, that prioritization of relationship. You know, that it's meant to be relational. And so, yeah, even emotions are meant to be something that are shared.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I'm curious about, like, you know, for parents who are listening and maybe are experiencing some of the ups and downs of, there's a lot of ups and downs with emotional dysregulation in parenting. I mean, it's tough. It's hard for us to stay regulated. It's hard for us to help our kids, you know, and like I'm thinking about giving them a next step, you know.
I agree. Yeah. I think the first one is being able to name an emotion. I feel like that's been really helpful for me in figuring out how to, okay, what am I feeling right now? Am I feeling angry or frustrated, or am I just disappointed, you know, or am I happy, or am I thankful, or am I grateful? Like all these different emotions, just being able to name them and say, okay, what am I feeling right now? You know, I feel like that's a big kind of thing to be grasped onto, is just to understand, like,
now what am I feeling?
What am I feeling?
And maybe even like if my, you know, if it's a parent and they're seeing their child in distress, like how do I feel seeing my child in distress? Like if my child is upset and I'm having an emotional response to that, what feeling is coming up for me?
Am I repelled by it?
Yeah.
You know?
Do I feel like moving away from them?
And kind of just looking at those
angry,
deeper things. I'm like, and I think this is, you know, stay tuned for an episode coming soon talking about just generational kind of things, but do I feel this way towards my child because that's how my mom or my dad treated me?
Right.
Or,
yeah.
And all these things.
Something
and that
else coming up.
Yeah. And so, was there experience in my childhood that is leading me to feel, upset with my child because they did this or all these different things? And so I feel like we'll talk about that more in the future, but I think it's an important thing to
or did I have a bad day? Am I frustrated because I'm gonna be late to go somewhere, and and I would not feel like this some other time. I'm taking it out on them, or is it like what's really going on for me right now? And is that can I do it? What can I do in this moment?
For sure.
Yeah, what can I do in this moment to help myself? What can I do in this moment to help my child? And how can I do this in a way that shows them the character of God? To show them, am I showing them who God is through this response? If He's a God who doesn't leave me, who doesn't abandon me, who in His presence there's, fullness of joy. And so, because I think when you can name it, like you're saying, when you can reflect on what is going on for you, then you can make a choice about how you're going to respond. Like, what are you going to do next in response to that? Are you going to do the thing that you feel like doing? Like, are you going to do the reactive sort of thing that might drive a wedge in your relationship, or something that you're going to have to try to go back and say you're sorry for later, or try to make amends, or that is going to become something between the two of you? Or are you going to choose something that shows them your love, your care, your concern, and shows them, who God is, and reflects really the character of God?
Yeah, that's so good. So hopefully that helps. And just kind of giving you some practicals. Of just what we can do in this kind of talking about emotional regulation. Yeah,
and really, it can be at any age, any season.
Yeah. Praise God.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Praise God that it's not just you have to learn it once and you can never figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. So true. And it's like such a work in progress, because it's...
Yeah, no one's ever going to be perfect.
No, there's no perfect person. So, no such thing. But anyway, Press, good thoughts today.
Good thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. And
thanks.
We hope this helps.
Yeah.
Make sure to look at the YouTube, the Whole Person Parenting Podcast, on any streaming platform for podcasts. We are on there.
Yep.
And then make sure to follow the Instagram. And
we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye, guys.